Yo, it's your boy Logos. And when I was in high school, I would love to go on YouTube and watch this debate show that was based in England. Unfortunately, I can't remember the exact name of it, but it would have people from different backgrounds or viewpoints debate what you would call sensitive topics. It could be religion, it could be politics, or anything involving society, and questions that people really get uncomfortable with discussing. And I really appreciate it. Even if people didn't agree with on a certain topic, especially when it concerned religion, people didn't fight, they didn't throw labels, and they didn't try to, I don't know, end somebody's career over it. Something that you don't really see nowadays, if you ask me. And I think university used to be like that, but even from my own experience, and that's not the case. I know even if you didn't go to college, you can go on YouTube and find videos of people fighting each other, calling people fascist, Nazi, all these other labels, just because they have a difference of opinion. I really don't understand why our politics has gotten this way, but it does have me concerned a bit because this is kind of how ancient Rome started to go down the cliff. It would start off with people having disagreements over political situations or political matters, but then they would start getting very violent. They would use intimidation and they would use all these different factors or things to try to influence elections or influence people to do certain things. And at a certain point, there was a collapse. Of course, there were different factors into that, but all I'm trying to say is seeing these different things that I thought was universities or colleges' purpose of existing to debate different ideas and come to a solution. Or even if you can't come to a solution, just agree to disagree and walk away and still appreciate having that knowledge or that perspective come towards you and being absorbed by you. Honestly, that doesn't exist. Not from my, I don't know, experience or from what I watched over the past 10 or 15 years. I think the fact that politics and everything is being wrapped in politics, even if it's not really political, leads us down a very, I don't know, dark, muddied path that I don't think we want to go down. It really only leads to collapse and stagnation. It's impossible to have any type of improvement or solutions if you're only focused on your own side or your own ideology. And that's if you're conservative, liberal, far left, far right, or anything in between. Nobody has a key to anything or the, I don't know, the perfect answer to anything because we don't know everything. But if we all work together, we all have, meaningful, purposeful conversations without vitriol or conflict or hatred being spewed out because we disagree, then I think we can come up with a solution. And if you ask me, that's how us as a society, us as a civilization, human beings has gotten to this point where we have luxury, especially within the West, where we have AC, indoor plumbing, all the things that our ancestors would have killed and died to just experience one day of. It's ridiculous. And the whole idea of us possibly having this fall apart because we fight amongst ourselves is really, I don't know, sad to me. But I guess that's part of the reason why this channel exists to talk about it. So let me stop ranting because I really want to hear what Thomas Sowell got to say about it. Because, like I said, just what 10, 15 seconds ago, he could have a different perspective. Or he could be talking about something completely different than I am, and I just ran it for 3 minutes and 30 seconds, all for nothing that's not related to what he got to say. But either way, I'm here to learn. I hope you are too. So let's get into it.
If you liked Alice in Wonderland, you will love the Chronicle of Higher Education, the trade publication of academia. Just one issue, dated the 13th of October 1993, for those who are superstitious, contains stories about professors that make you wonder if academics ever grow up. In that issue, New York University advertised for a faculty member in the performing arts, for what it called gendered performance. The specific duties of the job include drag, transvestite performance, queer theories. The university encourages applications from women and members of minority groups. None of the usual stuff about being an equal opportunity affirmative action employer that we have grown so used to that its internal contradictions no longer bother us. In what literally became a federal case, a professor at the University of Alabama injected his religious views into a physical exercise class that he taught. When the university told him to stop it, he sued. Eventually, he lost the case, but gained tenure. so perhaps it was a standoff. Had he injected left-wing ideologies into wholly unrelated subjects like biology or English, as happens routinely on many campuses across the country, he would never even have been warned.
Exactly. And if you're a student that's gonna, go up against them, especially at a major university, you're rolling the dice of possibly being ostracized by people that are already ingested and believe in this brainwashing. When me and Ram went to school together at community college, we had a sociology teacher. Yeah, it was sociology. And the professor, like he was everything that you could think of when you think of like a leftist type of teacher. Talking all this nonsense about, I don't know, binary, non-binary genders, talking all this nonsense about feminism and all this stuff that really didn't make any sense. And of course, Ram and me, we couldn't just, just sit there and let that slide. We couldn't just let him say whatever he wanted without any pushback. But there really wasn't much pushback from a lot of other people. And I can understand if you're in a major university, you may have a huge auditorium filled with students, and you be the sole person put up your hand and say, yeah, I don't believe this about transgenderism, or why are we even talking about transgenderism within this topic? It doesn't make sense for what we came here to study. And you're going to be labeled a piece of shit. People may take pictures of you, and people may not like you because of that, because you speak your mind.
Another federal case arose because a professor who cussed out his students in class ignored warnings to stop it and then sued when he was eventually fired. This case went as far as the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, where the prof lost. This does not mean that mere profanity in the classroom is grounds for firing a professor. It was only the fact that the profanity was directed against students that got the professor in trouble. All across the country, and all up and down the academic pecking order from Harvard to Podunk A&M, four-letter words are okay in the classroom under the broad umbrella of academic freedom. Professors who go to bed with their students are also covered by academic freedom, even if they are not covered by anything else. The same issue of the Chronicle of...
Wait, what's wrong with sex between professors and students? It's not what you think. From the title alone, I don't know what they're gonna say, but let's say they're gonna say there's nothing wrong with a professor and a student having that relationship. How long have you heard about that power dynamic and people abusing that? Whether it's the student getting better grades or the professor using their influence on their future academically to get sex. But now it's okay. And oftentimes we hear about, especially with men, using their influence to prey upon the woman to get sex or other stuff. But now you're going back on that. Uh, I don't get it. Hopefully that's not what they're going into, but that's all the thing I'm seeing from the title alone.
Higher education includes letters from readers responding to an essay by a professor at the University of Massachusetts who says that he has remedied the problem of female students whose virginity was unnaturally prolonged.
What the fuck?
Again, we need have no fear for this professor's job, either for his actions or his subsequent boasts about them. It is very unlikely that his deflowering of student virgins will add to the congestion of the federal courts. At Stanford, incidentally, male students can get into all kinds of trouble under a new and vaguely worded sexual harassment code, but Stanford professors who go to bed with their students are merely admonished. Mob rule is also alive and well in academia. The same issue of the Chronicle of Higher Education reports on a riot at UCLA in which students attacked the faculty club. They broke the club's plate glass windows, wrecked furniture, and carved graffiti in its walls. In due course, they were rewarded by the UCLA administration's promise to add 2 new professors in Chicano studies and to exempt ethnic studies programs from any of the cutbacks that might hit such non-relevant subjects as mathematics or economics. The Chronicle also reported on similar events at Berkeley. Several hundred protesters ran through 2 campus buildings and pulled fire alarms. No one was arrested. Note that protesters is the politically correct term for rioters, vandals, or stormtroopers on campus. Although these protesters are routinely reported as expressing their rage or their anguish, one of the Cornell student leaders may have captured the real spirit more accurately when he said, after various organized acts of vandalism there, "This is very exciting." One of the reasons we don't hear much about such campus outbursts in the general media, the way we did back in the 1960s, is that they happen too often to be news and are accepted too supinely to have the drama of conflict.
If you guys know more about like different university like protests, quote unquote, or vandalism related to this type of power dynamic, or them trying to, enact their ideology, put it in the comments down below. Because I know about UC Berkeley. I think I know about Evergreen University. When I can't remember the professor name. He been on Joe Rogan a few times. And Jordan Peterson, he discussed it too. Those are the only two universities I know about. Maybe UCLA, but if you know more, definitely put in the comments because I'm not that much aware of all the different instances.
Experienced academic administrators have also learned how to minimize the number of such episodes by various techniques of preemptive surrender. By staying constantly aware of what is most likely to set off the most volatile elements among the students and faculty, administrators know which way to bend academic policy and whose misconduct or outright crimes are to be overlooked. This game works only because many outside of academia are not even aware that the game is being played. But before deciding whether to contribute to dear old alma mater, it might be well worthwhile to subscribe to the Chronicle of Higher Education. You could end up deciding to donate to medical research instead, or to invest the money in the marketplace, where it will help create jobs.
Another good video from Thomas Sowell. Let me know what you think. I think we've all seen the evidence of this over the past 10, 15 years. And I'm not sure where this text was like translated for this video. I'm not sure if it's a book that's pretty old or was created or released around 2010. I would love to see what his ideas are nowadays, because if that is the case about this book being older, it's only got much, much worse. And full out fights between different people because of ideologies like Antifa, it only shows you even more so about the ideology and the origins. Because they don't even hide it anymore. They're full blown Marxists. They have hammer and sickles. They talk about taking down, I don't know, the ruling class or whatever they want to call it. Everything is about privilege or power or the patriarchy or someone somewhere oppressing somebody somewhere. It doesn't make any sense. And if you don't agree with them, then you're an oppressor, along with a whole bunch of other labels, which includes Nazi, sexist, or racist. And if you're a minority that don't buy into the BS like myself, Ram, and many of my friends, then you're a coon, a sellout, and you're a disappointment to your race. Come from the same people that saying they're fighting against racism, they still try to dictate what a black man should or should not think. Like I said, they're full of shit and all they know is their ideology and brainwashing, which is why I have no respect for them, and I'm perfectly happy with disagreeing with them. I plan on doing some, I don't know what you want to call it, video reactions where I'm gonna listen to a guy who says stuff I really much disagree with. I did stuff before, FD signifier or FD organism, and I really couldn't buy any of the bullshit he was saying, whether it was about stuff economically, society, or when he even talked about Kevin Samuels. All the stuff he said was nothing but BS, but I'm gonna do more reactions because I love talking logic to this nonsense. It really has no roots or nothing really good to come out of it. And they're very selfish, if you ask me, just to be honest. Some of them talk about revolutions and starting wars and overturning the system as if that's going to be bloodless, as if everybody's just going to walk away clean from that, or their family will. They're willing to sacrifice their own people that they care about for the sake of some pipe dream about Marxism or socialism working out here. Even though we have plenty of instances around the world where it failed. So you can't talk sense to these people, even though they live lives nowadays that benefit some immensely on the back of people oppressed around the world. A lot of these Marxists and woke people that go to these colleges or recently left these colleges, you have to love to use iPhones or other products made in China or places where they need minerals or products from the place like Africa that use slave labor, but they're not gonna stop buying our phones and taking selfies and putting dumbass hashtags behind them, showing how woke they are. They're hypocrites. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Put some references to any more college or university riots, and I'll definitely react to it. But that's it for now. Like, share, and subscribe. It's your boy Logos, and I'll see you next time. Peace.